John was star. The UK is not playing. I mean, God, 41 years. These are the types of stories that I talk about, right? And people are saying, oh, come I never hear nothing like that. SouFLo just make things up. Owen Hazley, he's now 45 years old. And he came to Britain at the age of 4. 4, no. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he was given the right to remain there. But he is now facing deportation on a plane that is dubbed the convict flight, scheduled to be leaving the UK for Jamaica. Check it out. A dad who had embarked on deportation, a dad who has been earmarked for sorry, I'm a bit flabbergasted and flustered reading this thing, but a dad who had been earmarked for deportation back to Jamaica after moving to the UK at 4 years old says that he will now have to bring up his kids using Skype. Owen Hazley is 45 years old, and he has been living in Britain for 41 years. And he was given the right to remain here. And I'm guessing he's one of those who never went back at all. So you can imagine leaving somewhere you were born at the age of 4, never ever returning, not even for a short vacation, not even figure look and come back. Right? So he is one of the 50 people that were, or 56 that were supposed to be on that flight. And the updated story to that is that he actually was one of them that was taken off the flight at last minute. Whew! But he is still facing deportation and he is still fighting it in a court. So remember, if they send this man back to Jamaica, this is someone that has been away from Jamaica for over 40 years. Over 4 decades. Owen says that the government had given him the choice of flying his children over or speaking to them online. Wow. We're going to deport you. Here's your choice. You can take your kids with you and leave, or you can speak to them on Skype. Either way, you're leaving. The distraught father said that my children need me. I've been told that they can either travel over to see me or I have to keep in touch with them through Skype. All passengers on the so-called convict flight are alleged to have committed offenses in the past, right? And you can remember they put out that these people on the flight were all criminals, rapists, so on and so forth. Owen says that he has no family in Jamaica whatsoever, and he has not been to the island since he left at 4 years old. So there you have it. No need to guess. He says he has no family left in Jamaica, and he has not been to the island since he left at 4 years old. So one of them people that were throw a stone behind them then. I'm just saying. Anyway. Speaking about his ordeal, Owen described how, but you know what, let me say this before I go any further. You can't fault him, because 4-year-old is a very tender age, and you leave somewhere at 4, you probably forget that place by the time you're 10, completely. You know what I'm saying? So, him growing up in the UK ever since he was 4 years old, I don't have any qualms about him never visiting Jamaica, because I mean, what was he supposed to go there and do when he was old enough? We could say we blame his parents for not keeping him in touch with the island and taking him back on vacation as a child and letting him know, submerge in the culture and know that this is where you're really from, etc., and all that. We can blame them, but after a certain point, he becomes an adult and that blame is off the parents. Now, as an adult, having never been there since I was 4 years old, and now I'm 18, I have no connection to the island. You understand what I'm saying? Anyhow, I just don't want people to bash him based on my words of the story. Let me keep going. Speaking about his ordeal, he described how he was arrested January 25th before being taken to a holding facility near Heathrow, the airport, in relation to an incident that took place in 2015. This is in 2020. They pick him up for something that happened in 2015. So he was speaking to the Manchester Evening News from the detention center, and he said, "I hold my hands up. I have made mistakes, but I have gone to prison. I've done my time for it. I've done rehabilitation and restorative justice, and they say I can't have a second chance. Why do I have to be sent to another country and bring my kids up on Skype?" Owen moved to the UK in 1977 with his mom, who was a nurse, and he was given permission to remain with no restrictions. He was convicted in 2015 of a domestic violence assault and spent a year at HMP Risley. Owen was then, wait there. Anyhow, it doesn't matter, I won't say it. Owen was then told by immigration that he would need to apply for the right to remain in the UK as a UK resident. After a 3-year battle with the Home Office, Owen was arrested while signing on at an immigration center in Salford on January 25th. He has now been told that he is due to board a plane with another couple of people, which will be sent to Jamaica. Owen, whose great aunt was a part of the Windrush generation, says that he's devastated. Even the thought of being separated from his young children. He said that offenders with a British passport can repeatedly offend and be given another chance. I'm not a repeat offender. I did that one thing in 2015. I paid my dues and I moved on. It's been 5 years since, and they're here to pick me up now to tell me that they want to deport me. After living here for 41 years, since I was only 4 years old. Owen worked at Affleck's Palace, an indoor market, and became a well-known as a drum and bass jungle DJ and MC with residence at city center nightclubs such as Vogue, Dry Bar, and Music Box. He spent 12 years teaching music workshops to young people as part of the organization Greater Manchester Music Action Zone, and most recently worked as a mobile phone executive. He has worked legally with the national insurance number he has been given since he was 16 years old, and he has always paid his taxes. Wow. Owen, who holds a Jamaican passport, first spent time in London after arriving in the UK before moving to Manchester with his great aunt 30 years ago. He says he was originally told that he had overstayed in the UK and a deportation order was issued in August of 2016. Following the various appeals to the Home Office over the last 3 years, he was detained and ordered to be deported on a flight to Jamaica last year, days after the Windrush scandal broke. But the flight was cancelled for reasons the Home Office did not disclose. Owen returned to Manchester but was detained again last week while signing on at a Home Office center in Salford. He was taken to Manchester Central Police Station, and there he was held before being taken to Morton Hall Immigration Removal Center. Owen has been at Harmondsworth Immigration Center in Middlesex since last Sunday. He said, "It's like a prison in here. We're in cells, and there's a regime. It's a bit just like a prison. It's cold, the food is not that great, and we're restricted to using things like internet. They've got this flight set up for us to leave, and I think they will give everyone decisions on their status that day, and we won't be able to stop it," Owen says. "I've not been back to Jamaica since I left as a kid at 4 years old. I have been over here for a long time. I don't know anyone there at all. Everyone got the impression that it's a nice place as a tourist, For someone being deported, you will be right in the middle of things. Where will I live? And how will I survive financially? We have been told that 50 of us will be put on a flight in the morning by 190 enforcement officers, which will sit with us. Wow. And Jamaican police will meet us and put us into a holding place. Anyone of interest to the Jamaican police will be held, and everyone else will just be processed and let go. Owen admits that he never thought to apply for a British passport because he had lived and worked in the country for so long, 41 years, without any problems. A decision he now regrets. Remember, he was given originally leave to remain with no strings attached, no requirements, indefinitely. He says he's worried about returning to a country that he hasn't set foot on since he was a child, with no family or friends left there. Owen added that the Home Security or the Home Office says that because of his criminality, they want to deport him. I just want to be given a second chance like everyone else that does a crime and serve their time. I came over here legally. I'm not an illegal alien. I've lost it all because of a 12-month imprisonment. Owen says that he is also worried about the arrival of the flight, which will be received in Jamaica after hitting the headlines. It's gone out in the Gleaner and all their other news famous papers in Jamaica. We have been set as targets. People have this impression that if you're from England, you have lots of money. But they don't even give you a change of clothes here, he said. The Home Office is issuing booklets on how to be Jamaican. I've seen the posters in the detention center, how to be Jamaican, as if that can help us. Friends of Owen have started a petition calling on MPs to intervene in his case in the hope that they can persuade the Home Office to cancel his deportation. Home Office spokesperson said that the UK, like many other countries, use their charter flights to return people to their country of origin where they no longer have a right to remain in the UK. The majority of these being returned are returned on scheduled commercial flights, but this isn't always an option, especially where the individual may be a foreign national offender. Now, let me end this video by saying this. This is sad as hell, okay? Now, this is the same thing that I've spoken about before. Somebody, Despicable Pete, says this is all bad, considering that most of the Tory government seems to be above the law themselves, as history has shown in the past. Another person says, I hope everybody who commits a crime gets deported back to their country in the same way, regardless of their skin color. Another person says, I bet if he was a rich Tory supporter, he would not be deported. This is such a cruel thing to happen while we pamper the unknown murderers and pedophiles. Other families get torn apart. Now, let me end that video by saying this. This is exactly what I was talking about. You have left since you were 4 years old. What in the world would you be doing back in Jamaica, and you have never returned? What would you be doing back in Jamaica? You left at 4 and you're getting deported at 45. 41 years away in the country. 41 years away from Jamaica. 41 years living in the UK. And you're about to be deported, and people find justice in this? It was a domestic violence issue. He did a year. He did his time in prison. He has been there in the UK since he was 4. This is a perfect example of someone that is Jamaican only by birth. He is not culturally Jamaican. He knows jack diddly squat about Jamaica. It is a travesty. It is wickedness at its highest heights. Sending someone off into desperate conditions, ripping them away from their very young children. For what? What do you think the outcome is going to be for him? It looks dim. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one. It's SouFLoTV. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I'm out. Peace.